Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. I hope you're well. It's April the 7th. It is Good Friday. It's 2023. And this video is intended to help walk you through the portal from now until Easter Sunday and Easter Monday. So effectively, we ride a bit of a wave, don't we? We ride the wave from Good Friday, which is linked into the energy of suffering, maybe bringing up our own suffering, our own wounds, reflected obviously in the story of Jesus. And then we get into Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, the resurrection, the rebirth, the new light that comes into the world at that time. And boy, do we need it right now. Boy, do we need it right now. So this video, we're going to maybe pick at some of the main parts of the story of Easter, try to make it as relevant as we can for now, because it's very, very relevant. I will be pulling some cards from the new Christ Consciousness deck, which is not yet out, but will be next month. You can pre-order it. I'm not taking pre-orders on my own website yet because I haven't received the deck, so I prefer to do it when we've got them. But yeah, I think it's about May the 17th. It's released in the USA first, and then Europe will be a few weeks after that. But yeah, I'm going to be pulling some cards from that. I'm also going to be referencing Charles Dickens, which might seem a bit random, but actually really isn't. And I think I might start with that first. Because yeah, it's random, but it's not random. Let me go back a few steps though. You may or may not have seen the two videos that I put out when I was in Switzerland for the last 2 weeks. I did 2 videos, both of which where I was basically on the mountain. One where the mountain's very green, it's very verdant, it's very lush. The other one, I'm up the mountain and it's snowy, cold, freezing, both very beautiful. But yeah, the energy of the mountain has really stayed with me. And in fact, when I actually left Switzerland on, what day was it? Wednesday of this week, I felt very emotional leaving the mountains. I actually could only leave them by saying to them, I am taking you with me. I'm literally taking your energy with me. Is that okay? And it was quite amazing, actually. We'll just tell you this before we get into the main body of today's teaching, because I'm a bit intrigued by this. As I said that, I looked up. This was the view from my hotel, but this great big sea came in cloud form over the mountain. And I just heard, see you. As in, we'll see you soon. So I don't know. I'm just feeling as though I could quite easily just move to the mountains, but it's probably not very practical at all. But anyway, the reason I'm telling you this, you've seen the 2 videos or you haven't. I was very touched by God's presence on that mountain. Very, very touched by God's presence and feel quite changed by it, actually. And this morning, lying in bed, thinking about this video today, a thought came into my head, which was that when we are very touched by God's Spirit in a very real way, in a very profound way, when we have a real moment of complete connection, like I did there, sometimes you will find that something shifts. You might receive a new gift. I'm talking about a spiritual gift, which is to be of service to other people, not yourself, of course. You're given the gift so you can help others. Or just something shifts in your own life. And there was part of me that was just like, well, maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. Didn't think any more of it until I sat down here just now. And what's happened is I have a crystal here. I don't think it's going to show on camera, to be honest, but it's a quartz crystal. It's one I've had for a while. In fact, it tends to be a crystal that I connect with what I call the Heart Squad. Those that follow me know what the Heart Squad is. It's a group of souls that I channel who have died, who have passed on. And this is sort of the crystal that symbolises all of that. And as I was preparing this video today, I looked at the crystal and I can still see it now. There's a figure in the crystal. There's the image of a man. And I can see it so clearly, more clearly than I've ever seen anything in any crystal. And I'm realising that I think this is going to be a gift that I can now hone. And I suppose, isn't it interesting that I can see the face in the crystal, and I've just come from the crystalline mountains, so it's perfect. Anyway, what I can see is a shape of a man with a bowler hat. I can see his face very clearly. I can see his broad shoulders, and I can see the face of Charles Dickens. And it all ties into this book that I'm called to talk to you about today, or reference. This is a book that was given to one of my girls when they were christened 20 years ago. It's sat downstairs in our bookcase probably ever since. I have to be honest, I haven't read it, but today it was calling, so I went and got it. This is before I saw the figure in the crystal. And it's a book that Dickens wrote for his own children. It wasn't intended for publication. He wrote it in 1846 to 1849 to help his children understand the story of Jesus. And he refused to allow it to be published. And it only became published after not only his death, but all his remaining children. And the last child of his that died as an older man, in his will basically said it was okay to publish this. His wife could publish it on behalf of the family trust or whatever. And it was finally published in 1934. And it's just a very simple telling in, how many pages is it? 122 pages about the story of Jesus. And yeah, I feel one of the reasons Dickens is also coming through, don't want to bring too much low energy into this video because I want to keep it as high as we can, but we also have to acknowledge there is so much seeping darkness in our world that's very much in our face right now. And this is why the light of Christ, and you don't have to be a Christian to accept this light into your life. As I say, my work is non-denominational. Christ consciousness is non-denominational. It's about basic qualities of love, compassion, forgiveness, gentleness, tolerance, non-judgment, etc. But why it's so important, so it's like this creeping darkness. Dickens, whilst I was away on holiday, the BBC put out a new adaptation of Great Expectations, one of Dickens' most famous books. It's a beautiful story of redemption, and it's just a brilliant story. And I would have watched it if I'd been at home, but I didn't. I wasn't at home, so I didn't see it. But I did see the furore in the newspapers after they aired episode 1, because what they've done is they have inserted into the story some salacious sexual content that was never in the original book. Yeah, it's classic, isn't it? It's like, okay, we have to sell it to the masses. They're not going to want just Great Expectations. We have to also put a bondage scene in there, which is basically what they've done. It's like a spanking scene with a dominatrix. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, you know, this is just such an invasive, creeping darkness into everything. This is primetime TV, 7 o'clock in the evening. So you'd be sitting down with your children, you know, who know these stories, certainly if you're in the UK, or you know your literary greats. It's just so unnecessary, but it's also so targeted, actually, to, yeah. So I think that this is one of the reasons Dickens wants to come through as well, which is he doesn't like the perversion of his work. It's interesting that he's coming through in this crystal, which is quartz, which is about clarity. And I'm being drawn back to this book that he wrote, which is very beautiful. There's actually at the very last, I'm going to read the very last page of this book. And it's a prayer. It's a prayer. Let's start with the prayer. It's 2 prayers written by Charles Dickens for his young children. Let's start this video with these 2 prayers. So let's firstly spray the Christ light spray, the beautiful gold and orange and peach and coral tones of Christ light. This is what Dickens wrote. Hear what our Lord Jesus Christ taught to his disciples and to us, and what we should remember every day of our lives. to love the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our mind, and with all our soul, and with all our strength, to love our neighbours as ourselves, to do unto other people as we would have them do unto us, and to be charitable and gentle to all. There is no other commandment, our Lord Jesus Christ said, greater than these. And then there's a prayer for the evening as well. So as some of you might be watching this in the evening, this is the prayer for the evening. It says, O God, who has made everything and is so kind and merciful to everything he has made, who tries to be good and to deserve it, God bless my dear papa, my mama, brothers and sisters, and all my relations and friends. Make me a good child and let me not be naughty and tell lies. Make me kind to my nurses and servants and to all who are poor, and let me never be cruel to any creatures. For if I am cruel to anything, even to a little fly, God, who is so good, will not love me. I'll take issue with that. And pray God to bless and preserve us all this night and forevermore through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. I'm not really taking issue with it. We have to get to a place whereby we look at works, written works, in the age in which they were written. And of course the Gospels were written in a certain age as well, weren't they? The world is very different now, but the central tenets of love and compassion is just so important to hold dear to our hearts at this time. I actually wrote here, I've just written a few notes for today, because I don't really know where to start with this video in terms of what hasn't maybe already been said so many times by so many people. But maybe there's comfort actually in hearing the old words and the old stories. I think there is. I think it gives us structure. But I have written here how far we have fallen. Are we in times of the New Babylon? It just does feel as though the world right now, before this great awakening that will happen across our planet, it's as though we're being shown so much darkness, so much that has been in shadow, so much that has always been there, but we just haven't been able to, we haven't seen it. It can be very, very overwhelming, and I think many people are feeling very overwhelmed at this time. But to come back to the central teachings of staying in your heart and staying in love is what will get us through these times. Back to basics I've also written as well. I wanted to reference this necklace that I'm wearing now because it almost feels like it's a teaching in itself. I got this in Switzerland. It's by a brand called, it's a European brand that I've never heard of before. I think it might be called something, no, I'll have to put the link below. Well, it's not a link. I don't have a link. I can just tell you what the brand is. 5 to 100 or something. I can't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter. It spoke to me. It's on a leather chain, for want of a better word. And what it is a person. Could be you, could be me, could be anybody. And this person is, well, you might think that they are clinging on to the rope. You might feel as though they are just very happily steady and enjoying the view. But they are on the rope somewhere. What is the rope? The rope is life, really, isn't it? The fact that we just have to keep hanging on. We have to keep hanging on. And as long as we stay aligned and we stay true to this beautiful life force energy, which is the God force energy, the energy of love, we won't fall. But the interesting thing about this necklace is that if we think this is us, and you might be further up the rope because it moves up and down, or you might feel as though you're right at the bottom, or you might feel as though you've climbed quite a bit further in life. And as I say, you're either enjoying the view, or it's like, oh my God, how do I get to the next level? Or how do I get to the summit? Do I even know where I'm going? You know, how am I feeling as I'm just hanging here? Am I present? Am I fearful? Am I joyful? You know, how tightly are you holding on? But also about alignment. But the interesting thing about this necklace is that further down, there are all these other people holding on as well. There's all these other little souls. Can you see them? They're like little people. And it seems to me as though it's a representation of the fact that we're all connected and that other people are relying on you to keep hanging on. There is an energy of suffering right now in our world. Many people finding it very difficult. You might be in considerable physical pain or emotional pain. You might be going through loss. You might be going through hardship of some description. You might feel completely alienated from this world, even though you can appreciate it's a beautiful day. There's also so much that is changing, so much that we don't recognise. And that's not to say that change isn't good, because change is good and things will always evolve. But it just feels as though the fast pace of it right now, whether it be linked into AI or anything else, is causing many people a lot of anxiety because it's changing so quickly, okay? It's as though we look around and we don't recognise how to even interact with the world. But this is one of the things that Switzerland taught me, actually. I'm just going to put these little people back into view. Is that a lot of the ideology that is maybe pumped at us via media in particular, that this is what you now need to believe, this is what you now need to be, this is what you now need to accept, okay? This is the way it is. And if you question that, you're either out of touch or, or worse. What I experienced, and I think this is true wherever you go, when you travel, it really takes you back to basics in terms of most people are just wanting to get on with their lives. They're there as a family, a couple, or they're on their own, but they're all basically doing the same thing. They're all, for example, in the case of Switzerland, they're all there just marvelling at the mountain. They're all there having their coffee or their cappuccino in the morning. They're all there looking for their lunch. Basically, people are good. This is really what I'm trying to say. People are basically good. People have common structures and routines around their day. A lot of what is trying to separate us, it's an invasive force field that we're fighting against. But when you get down to basics and you reconnect with people and you travel, you see that there's so much commonality, that we are all in this together. We've all just got to keep hanging on. So yeah, I love this necklace. I think it will become one of my favourites. It really, really speaks to me. It's also something about teamwork, isn't there? Which is that there's always going to be somebody that maybe, is up there, not necessarily in terms of better than you or anything like that, but it's just we need role models. We need somebody to be looking up to. But we also have to question sometimes, are the role models that we're fed healthy ones? And I think what the mountain does is it teaches us, it reminds us, it doesn't teach us, it reminds us of actually what is important. That so much at ground level that is going on is distraction and noise. And when we look at the spiritual community as well, there are so many people that are distracted and fixated on particular stories or outcomes that have to happen. Whereas actually the story of Easter and the whole energy of Christ consciousness is really about just keep going, keep focusing on yourself and others, try to be a good human being, stay in your heart, practice these central tenets of things such as being, gentle, listening, considerate, a good friend. Do your bit, basically. But realise that wherever you are, on this landscape, which is life, there's always people behind you who need you, who need you. We all need each other, really. This is the thing, we all need each other. We can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. So, let's just spray this, see where we want to go next. So feeling into the energy of Jesus, feeling into the energy of Christ. Being your own person is what I'm hearing. Coming through very strongly this Easter time. To be your own person, to lead by example. Okay, I'm going to pull a few cards now from the Christ deck. I don't know whether I said at the beginning or not that this painting behind me is of Judas Iscariot. And I have done a much longer video on Judas and what an important teacher he was, and how the story of Jesus and the crucifixion and the resurrection would never have happened without this guy, that you need the person who sometimes betrays you to help you open the door to the new, what lies beyond. You need somebody who often comes into your life who will test you. And we never want it. We never thank it or them when it's happening. But in hindsight, you always learn that that experience that might very well have rocked your world might have literally left you hanging onto the rope as if I've got nothing left, I'm about to fall, but you don't, because the others buoy you up, or Spirit buoys you up, Jesus buoys you up, you're held up. Okay, so yeah, that painting is Judas, and it's a very beautiful one. I kept that one. It was, I think I said to you before, when I had all the paintings in my house at one point. I've sold most of them now, but I was showing them to my mum and my husband and my kids, and that was the painting that particularly really made my husband actually really well up and cry. And he's not emotional like that, so it really spoke to him at some level of being. And that's not because he's a terrible man who betrays people. He doesn't. He's the complete opposite. He's a very good man. But we all have these archetypal energies within us. Where have we been betrayed? Or where have we betrayed someone? Okay, so it's very, very deep within all of us that will be there to some degree. Okay, let's see what the cards want to say today. So, as I say, this new deck, not out yet until May. It's going to look like that. It does look like that. Comes with a big book. Comes with 55 cards. I would suggest that you look in your own countries in terms of booksellers or Amazon, in terms of being able to pre-order it. I'll put the ISBN number down, but equally I will be selling them in my shop as well when they arrive within a month or two. So everybody will get a copy that needs a copy, or wants a copy, I'm sure. So it's going to be a great deck. Okay, so Easter 2023. Let's see what wants to come through. So something's just flashed up on my phone, so I'm just going to see what that is in case it's relevant to what we're talking about. Okay, I think it's Spirit having a bit of a joke, because you know the app Deliveroo. That's just flashed up, and I haven't ordered anything. So it's like, yeah, what have we ordered? What have we ordered this Easter time? What are we expecting to happen? Check your expectations, check your anticipation. There's that whole thing about where we are right now, particularly in terms of who we are as a person, is a reflection of how we've been in the past. So, but we can change who we are now to become who we want to be in the future as well. That's the whole energy of rebirth and resurrection. Who's about to arrive at the door? Well, it would be the energy of Jesus, wouldn't it? Deliveroo. If Jesus was here alive now in the 21st century, you know, would he be turning up on a bike at your door? Maybe he would. Okay, we've got the energy of grace. The energy of grace. This is actually the back of all of the cards as well. Grace. Blessings and goodwill is what wants to be delivered to your door. Blessings and goodwill. Do you feel worthy of that? That's a word that triggers so many people. But ultimately, let's sink into that, because God, Jesus, would say everybody is worthy of blessings and goodwill. I don't go with this God of the Old Testament. I don't go with fundamental Christianity that says you're a miserable sinner and you're going to go to hell unless you do A, B, C. That's not the Jesus that I know to be true at all. So blessings and goodwill is coming this Easter time to anybody that wants it, to receive it, of any denomination. All you have to do is open your heart to receive. All you have to do is open your heart to receive. Now, as I'm saying that, what I'm hearing Jesus say is that many people have got layers of religious dogma and indoctrination that need to be cleared from their heart space. Because even if you're not carrying it in this lifetime as some, rabid fundamentalist, even if you're not carrying it now as some rabid fundamentalist, at some level, you do have that pattern within you because you've probably been that in another lifetime. So we need to take off those binds, and let's do that now. And I'm just thinking that I would like another spray to help us with this. Just wondering which one to go for. I think I'm going to go for white. White, the beautiful reset energy, return to zero. I was talking about on one of the mountain videos that I did. Balance, clean sheet. Let's bring in the white ray. So firstly, let's connect into the energy of white light. Feel that going all around us, the energy of white light. White light into the cells, white light into the membranes, white light into the bones, white light into the skull, the skeletal system, white light into the skin, white light into all the organs, white light into all the cellular programming, white light into all destructive memories that have had their day, anything that you are able to cast off and let go of right now, and in particular, feeling it at the throat, all those lifetimes where you may have condemned another. Allow the white light in to cancel, clear, delete that, erase that. It was of its time, allow it to go. White light into the throat, the dove of peace coming down into the throat, speaking in a new way, listening in a new way, feeling in a new way, navigating in a new way, being in a new way, doing in a new way. And then let's us just open up to the energies of these powerful days that we're in and allow ourselves to accept the blessings and the grace that wishes to come down upon us. And the interesting thing about this card is that it shows the honeycomb and the bee. And of course, the bee was one of the early signs of Christianity in Christ. Goes way, way back. But bees work together. They work together for the common good to build a very beautiful structure. So again, it's this energy of teamwork, like in my necklace. Everybody relying on everybody else. Because the thing is also about this, the one further up gets safety and security from knowing that there are others beneath. Okay? There's no such thing as all are equal, all are equally important. Okay, so we have the energy of grace. Let's have two more cards and see what we want, what needs to be focused on. So receiving the blessings and the goodwill and the energy of teamwork needs to come in. Actually, before I pull another card, I want to say something about the energy of teamwork. Okay. I can't tell you what this is about because it's very personal. I'm going to light some incense at this point. But this is quite a powerful story. Let's just light some incense. I'm going to burn. Incense is a great way to connect to spirit as well and God, which is why they use it in churches. So let's put some of this on. Okay. And let's mention teamwork. So this morning I knew that I needed to sit down and do this video for you. I had committed to doing it. I do one every Easter and I wanted to do it. And I had set everything up last night to prepare to bring some words of comfort, hopefully through to you, and healing. And then late last night, got a phone call about a particular situation, not involving a family member, involving somebody that we know though. And ultimately, this person needs to be sat with for a few hours, sort of now. Because other people can't. Let's just put it that way. Okay, other people can't. So somebody needed to sit with this person who's in distress. And because I knew I needed to do this instead, my shadow came up a little bit and I felt very guilty about it, which was that I felt, and I said aloud, well, I can't do it. I'm meant to be doing this. I'm meant to be doing this today. You know, I'm going to be doing this. I can't be in two places. I can't be sitting with this person and doing this. This is time sensitive. It's Good Friday. I have to do it today. And my eldest daughter, in fact, she said to me, she said, yes, but maybe you're meant to be sitting with that other person right now. You know, that's what's more important. I thought, well, that's a bit rich from you. Can't even pick up your socks off the bathroom floor. And actually, I'd spent the whole day doing stuff for other people. Just the post-holiday things that, you know, we all have to do. The laundry, the shopping, looking after people, blah, blah, blah. I was tired last night when all of this was happening. So I wasn't at my best. But why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you it because of teamwork. I then realised that actually it didn't have to be me that sat with this person. And actually, it's my husband is sitting with this person for a few hours now, or about to. And that's what we're doing here, isn't it? That we can only do so much. We can't do it all. We can't do it all. You need people in your tribe. You need people around you that can share the load. We are where we're meant to be. I firmly believe I'm meant to be right here, right now, delivering a message to somebody who I may never know, I may never meet, but I might get you through the next couple of days. And I will never know that you even benefited from watching this, and that's fine. Because it's not about getting applause or, you know, letters of gratitude. So who's to say what's more important? That person who I will never know, that hopefully this might touch. This is time sensitive, as well as the person around the corner who needs to be sat with. But they are going to be sat with because my husband's going. Teamwork. And if you look at the story of Jesus and the disciples, that's why he had his disciples around him. He knew that it would take a team to build a church. And I'm not talking a church in terms of a building. The church is us. The church is people. As long as there's somebody to do it. And as long as all of us try to do our part, to do our bit. And we will be guided as to what is the most important thing to do at any one time. So I felt like I needed to share that for some reason. Since I came back from Switzerland, I just feel so... It really feels that it's going to stay with me as well. It's as though what Metatron is saying, I've got Metatron here, he's saying it's like someone switched off the drama button. I mean, time will tell, guys. But that's honestly what it feels. And I think many of you are feeling that as well. It's as though there's something inside of us where we've just switched off the drama button. And I'm talking here about all the external dramas of the world. And I keep hearing back to basics, back to basics, back to basics. Being there for each other, committing to what you say you're going to do and doing it, helping your fellow brother and sister, whether they're online, whether they're round the corner, sharing the load, The disciples shared the load, you see. No one person can do it all. So let's build a community of love, of companionship, of truth, of tolerance, and let it start with us. Let it start with us. I'm very aware of my own flaws and things that I still need to work on. But I guess because of the platform that I have, I also, sometimes it's very obvious where other people need to be working on things as well. And please, when you know that you've fallen short of how you wish to be, please try to really look at that and reflect on it and take action and try to climb higher. I did a picture post on Instagram and Facebook this last week on the day of Donald Trump's arrest. And I don't want to get into all of that in this video. What I wrote is freely available to be looked at on Facebook and Instagram. It was just a violet pill moment of teaching, of unity. In fact, maybe I should just read it here, because there was one, I was blown away by how positive all the reactions were and how so many people could stay in their heart. It was really encouraging to me. But there was also a couple of people where, and these were regular followers, there was one comment which was so cruel. It was so cruel. Whether you like this guy or you don't like this guy, I think you were talking about the fact he had a cancerous soul. I felt so pained when I saw that response, because it's so far from love. And I didn't name and shame you. I actually hid your comment so nobody else could see it, because I hope you went away and really thought about what you did there. Because all these characters on the stage, whether it's Biden, whether it's Trump, whoever it is, they're there to teach us something about ourselves and how we react. And we all fall short. All of us, myself absolutely included. But the trick is to be able to be humble, to remain teachable. And by teachable, I'm talking about from God, from Jesus, from Spirit. When we see our weaknesses and our flaws and we hear our ugly shadow come out, even though everybody else might be doing it, those of us that are completely, truly aligned to our heart, we should stop in our tracks and think, no, I can do better than that. This is what I wrote. Message for my USA followers and anyone else interested. Stay out of the circus ring today. Both sides are playing us for fools. The whole bird is diseased. No amount of popcorn or drama can keep it alive. But oh boy, they will try. It stays airborne by how much we invest in it, how much we want to fight our fellow brother and sister. And your energy can be siphoned today by those greedy to keep old 3D politics of us and them alive. Many are falling for it and will lap it up. The adrenaline rush of being virtuously right, which no one agrees on anyway, whilst the whole bird decays in front of us hour by hour. USA's Pluto return will see to nothing less than total death and rebirth, and a new national identity and political and social structure born. So step away from today's show, switch off the TV, go and get on with your day, breathe, align, and you will find common ground with others if you look for it. The best hope is a totally new set of wings, born of new consciousness and light to arrive on a new bird. The longer we inject our energy into that which is old paradigm, the further we move ourselves from the arrival of a new eagle that represents all, creates unity, not division, and sows tolerance, equality, forgiveness, and hope. It's Easter week. Let's stay focused on renewal and new beginnings and not picking over the bones of the past. So, yeah, that brought extraordinary, beautiful comments from most people. I was so buoyed by it. But, you know, if you weren't able to do that, let's just, we're all being given homework. We're all being given homework, okay? Humbleness and humility in terms of wherever we are, whether we're here, whether we're there, we've still got stuff to learn. Okay, one more card. We had the card of grace, didn't we? So opening to receive the blessings. Standing up with steadfast vision for the light. Standing up for the light. You see, you'll be mocked for being gentle sometimes. You'll be mocked for showing compassion. You'll be mocked for standing up for what is right. But it's time to stand up for what is right. Stand up for the light. Whilst around you, nobody else might not be doing so. You stand up for the light. But there are many that are actually doing that. Again, that's what the holiday taught me. You look around you, there's just a lot of good people. Whether you think it's the media, whether it's social media that's doing it, that's sowing this division and this separation, and I hate you and I don't like you because you believe that, and you're unawake so you're a fool, all of this type of stuff. None of that is light. Respecting where people are, respecting where each other are. We go back to the story of Jesus, and you know, he's nailed on the cross between two thieves. He doesn't judge them. Freedom, the energy of freedom. What's the saying from Jesus? Love the sinner but not the sin. Love the sinner but not the sin. The energy of freedom. Just be you. Just be you. What do we want to say about that, Jesus? Freedom, just be you. Do what your heart is telling you to do. It's the mountains again. I felt free in the mountains because there was a cutting away and a clearing of a lot of what that is not important down below. We get caught up and we trip ourselves up in stuff that isn't actually that important. Just be you. Be free. I'm aware that my speech in this video, I think it's because the energy of Christ is here, but my speech in this video is slower. My style is slightly different from how I normally present myself. I can almost hear some of the voices saying, "Are you okay, Amanda?" I'm completely okay. I'm completely okay. I'm completely at peace. I feel very free because I'm not sitting here thinking I need to be a certain way, or I have to say a certain thing, or I have to bring out a video today on what I know will be a far more popular topic than Easter. There are so many things that I could do a video on which would get more views than this. I don't care, because I feel free. And what I'm doing right now is real and authentic. And this is me. And you either get it or you don't. You either align or you don't. And if you don't, it doesn't matter, because you're going to be somewhere else on another rope. It's not a bad place to be. You're going to be on another mountain with another different type of lesson or experience that you're meant to be having right now. There's a stripping away of what is not important. And for me, that's what Easter is very much about as well. It brings us back to the basics. It's rebirth, it's regeneration. Let's ask for some guidance for those of you that are suffering today. So for those that are suffering, We have the energy of Jesus as the teacher. It says, walk the talk. Card number 33. The bird, the messenger. Jesus as the teacher. Walk the talk. Keep walking. Keep talking. Keep doing whatever's going on around you. It's at our most vulnerable moments, it's at our moments where we're most challenged, where we're suffering, that sometimes we can abandon our faith. It's when we need it the most. If you don't like the word faith, replace it with something else, routine, structure. Whatever you do to keep yourself feeling well and whole and healthy and holy. Keep going. There's also a message coming through right now, which is that a lot of people can't walk the talk in terms of hold this Christ consciousness energy, this gentle energy that's coming from via me today. I know it is. They can't hold it because they're in too much pain. They're suffering too much. But yet, if they would only turn to it, turn back to their heart, turn back to love, be vulnerable and open to it, they would realise that this is where the answer lies. That what they're in pain and they're suffering and they're trying to distract themselves with other stuff, other stories, other things that might happen. You know, there's so much fear out there in our community at the moment. And let's face it, if bad things happen in the future, we will face them. We'll deal with them. We'll walk through it together. We'll help each other. But there's just no point at the moment on dwelling on worst case scenarios. And a lot of our energy is being siphoned into that. Back to basics. Getting up in the morning, being a good person, trying your best. Being kind to yourself as well. Connecting to nature. Spending time with your God, whatever that means. In prayer, in meditation. Allowing this energy through to heal you. Not running from it. So, we're going to end this video with a transmission. Heart to heart. And we're going to allow that Christ light in. Okay. So let's surround ourselves with the orange, the gold, the peach, the yellow, the sunrise. Let us take a deep breath in and open our heart to the energy of Jesus, the Christ light. Let that energy go into places where it's needed, where you're in pain, where you're suffering, where you're in trouble, where you're struggling. And let him bring peace. The greatest gift is sometimes to stop, to pause, to receive, to be. To know that you are held, to know that you are safe, to know that you are loved. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. Happy Easter. See you again soon. Much love for now. Let the mountains stay within you. Let the energy of Jesus stay within you. Let that Christ consciousness grow. Much love.